The massive crystal doors of the Galactic Council chamber swung open with a soft hum. Ambassador James Parker walked in with his head held high, his polished black shoes clicking against the marble-like floor. The chamber stretched upward for what seemed like miles, its walls lined with hovering platforms, where representatives from hundreds of alien species sat watching. This was humanity's big moment. After 50 years of faster-than-light travel and establishing colonies on distant worlds, Earth had finally applied for membership in the Galactic Council. Parker had spent months preparing for this presentation, knowing it would shape humanity's future among the stars. High Counselor Vale stood at the center of the highest platform, his tall, slender form towering over the podium. His silver skin reflected the chamber's soft light as he looked down at Parker with 4 golden eyes. Around him sat the other 11 members of the High Council, each from a different species that had been spacefaring for at least 10,000 years. Ambassador Parker of Earth, Vale's voice echoed through the chamber. You stand before us to petition for humanity's membership in the Galactic Council. We have reviewed your application and achievements. Parker nodded, standing straight in his blue diplomatic uniform. Yes, High Counselor. Earth has made great strides in the past 5 decades. We've established peaceful colonies on 17 worlds, developed our own faster-than-light technology, and shown we can be valuable members of the galactic community. A sound like quiet laughter rippled through the chamber. Vale's upper set of eyes narrowed. Valuable members? He picked up a datapad. Your species only achieved spaceflight less than 300 years ago. Your fastest ships can barely reach 10 times light speed. And you call this? He paused, looking at the pad with disgust. Nuclear fusion, advanced energy technology. Parker felt his face grow warm, but kept his voice steady. Every species starts somewhere, High Counselor. We're learning and growing faster than. Faster than what? Vale interrupted. The Drachnid took 2,000 years to achieve what you claim to have done in 50. The Marians needed 15 centuries to establish stable colonies. He set down the datapad with a sharp click. Either you are lying about your achievements, or you have stolen technology from more advanced species. Neither, High Counselor, Parker said firmly. We developed everything ourselves. If you check the records. We have checked the records. Another council member spoke up, her bird-like features sharp with disdain. They show a primitive species barely out of its gravity well, thinking it can stand among those who have guided galactic civilization for millennia. Vale raised his hand for silence. This council's decision is unanimous. Your petition for membership is denied. His voice grew colder. Furthermore, we recommend humanity focus on developing its own worlds for at least another 5 centuries before attempting to join galactic society. Perhaps by then you will have moved beyond using chemical rockets for planetary landing. Parker felt anger burning in his chest, but years of diplomatic training kept his face calm. Around the chamber, dozens of alien species were watching, some with obvious amusement. They thought this was funny. The primitives being put in their place. High Counselor, Parker said carefully, I must warn you that dismissing humanity's achievements so easily might be a mistake. A mistake. Vale's laugh was like ice cracking. What mistake could we, with our combined 50,000 years of spacefaring experience, possibly make in judging a species that still thinks quantum entanglement is cutting-edge physics? Parker turned to leave, but stopped at the chamber's entrance. Without looking back, he spoke just loud enough for his words to carry through the perfect acoustics of the room. The mistake of thinking age always equals wisdom, High Counselor. Humanity has learned more in 50 years than some learn in 5,000. We ask to join as equals. Remember that when you realize what you've turned away. The crystal doors closed behind him with a final sounding thud, leaving the council chamber in silence. Some members shifted uncomfortably in their seats, but Vale merely snorted and moved on to the next item on their agenda. None of them noticed the small smile on Parker's face as he walked away, or saw him tap a simple message into his communicator. Operation Proving Ground is go. They would learn. They all would learn. 3 months after the Council's rejection, the great nations of Earth gathered in secret. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a chamber designed to block any alien surveillance, Admiral Lisa Stone stood before the assembled leaders of Earth's most powerful nations. "The Council thinks we'll spend the next 500 years licking our wounds," she said, her gray eyes scanning the room. "They expect us to hide on our colonies and slowly develop our technology, while they laugh at our primitive ways." A smile crossed her face. "That's exactly what we want them to think." On the massive screen behind her, Project Proving Ground's details appeared. The room filled with murmurs as the leaders saw the scale of what she proposed. "This is impossible," the Russian president said, leaning forward. "To build all this in secret, the Council's spy satellites will see everything." Admiral Stone pressed a button on her remote. The screen changed to show a new technology. "The quantum stealth shield." "Not if they can't see it," she said. "Dr. Tom White, please explain." A tall man with messy white hair stood up from the front row. "We reverse-engineered their scanning technology months ago," he said, speaking slowly so everyone could understand. "Their sensors all work on the same basic principle. It wasn't hard to figure out how to fool them. Right now, they're watching empty fields and normal shipping traffic while we work underneath." The Chinese premier nodded slowly. "And the cost?" "Astronomical." Admiral Stone admitted. "We'll need every major nation to contribute. But consider the alternative: centuries of being treated like children by the Council, while they control all major trade routes and technology sharing." The room grew quiet as everyone thought about the Council's dismissal. The video of Ambassador Parker's humiliation had spread across Earth, uniting humanity in a way nothing else had before. "What exactly are you proposing?" asked the Indian Prime Minister. Admiral Stone's smile widened. "Everything at once. New ships, new weapons, new shields. But most importantly, new ways of thinking. The Council believes age equals wisdom. They do things the same way they have for thousands of years. That's their weakness." She walked around the table, her voice growing stronger. "While they watch our old shipyards build outdated ships, our real work will happen in underground facilities and asteroid bases. We'll have research teams working around the clock, combining ideas from every nation. Chinese quantum physics, American AI, Russian space engineering, Indian software, Brazilian bioscience, everything." "And if the Council discovers us?" someone asked from the back. "They won't," Dr. White said confidently. "Their arrogance is our best shield. They think they know everything about us. Their reports say we're primitive and slow, so they won't look too hard at their sensor readings. They won't question why things look exactly like they expect." Admiral Stone touched another button. The screen showed a timeline. 6 months to set up the hidden facilities. 1 year for initial research. 2 years for testing. In 3 years, we'll be ready to show the galaxy what humanity can really do. The room buzzed with excited whispers. This wasn't just about proving the Council wrong. It was about humanity's future among the stars. "There's one more thing," Admiral Stone said, her voice cutting through the noise. "We've detected increased pirate activity near our outer colonies. The Council's rejection has made some think we're easy targets." Her eyes hardened. "When they attack, and they will, we'll be ready. It will be our first chance to show what humanity can do." One by one, the world leaders stood. Old rivalries were forgotten as they faced a common goal. They had spent centuries fighting each other, but now they had something bigger to work toward. As Admiral Stone watched them sign the agreement, she thought about the Council's arrogant dismissal. In their 10,000 years of power, they had forgotten a crucial truth. Sometimes the best ideas come from those who are told they can't do something. They had told humanity to wait 500 years. Humanity had decided to show them what they could do in 3. The Blue Star pirate fleet appeared above New Eden Colony, exactly as Earth's intelligence predicted. Their 20 ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel in attack formation, weapons already charged. Captain Rex of the pirate flagship smiled as he looked at the seemingly defenseless human settlement below. "Look at their pathetic defenses," he said to his crew, his scaled skin gleaming under the bridge lights. "Just a few old-style shield generators and some chemical rockets. The Council was right about these primitives." His second-in-command checked the sensors again. "No military ships in orbit, Captain. Their nearest patrol is 3 days away at their best speed." "Perfect." Rex leaned forward in his command chair. "Send the demand for surrender. Tell them if they give us their resources peacefully, we'll only take 90% of their food and minerals instead of everything." But before they could send the message, something strange happened. Their communication systems went dead. Then their engines stopped responding. One by one, every system on their ships began to shut down. "What's happening?" Rex shouted, pressing useless buttons on his control panel. "Get us back online." "Captain," his sensor officer called out, "something's rising from the planet's surface." From hidden underground bases, hundreds of small objects launched into space. Each one was about the size of a car, but the pirates' failing sensors couldn't tell what they were. "Impossible," Rex whispered as the objects surrounded his fleet. "Their technology isn't this advanced." The Council said. A voice cut through their dead communication system, speaking in perfect common Galactic. "This is Project Thunderbolt Control to Pirate Fleet. Your ships have been disabled by our electromagnetic pulse network. Your weapons are offline. Your engines are offline. Your shields are offline." In orbit, the small objects began to glow with blue light. Now the pirates could see them clearly. They were automated defense drones, each carrying weapons the likes of which Rex had never seen. But we have Council-grade shields," Rex protested. "Top military technology. You can't just shut them down." "Can't we?" The voice sounded amused. "Perhaps you'd like to check your ship's systems again. We've temporarily restored your internal sensors." Rex's crew frantically checked their readings. What they saw made their blood run cold. The humans hadn't just disabled their shields, they had completely reprogrammed them. The shields were now working in reverse, trapping the pirates inside their own ships. "This is impossible," Rex's second-in-command whispered. "They're supposed to be primitives. The Council said they barely understand quantum physics." The voice spoke again. "You have 2 choices. Option 1. Surrender peacefully and face trial for piracy under Earth law. Option 2. Resist, and we'll be forced to demonstrate our new phase lock technology. We've heard it's quite unpleasant to have your ship's hull phase slightly out of normal spacetime. Not immediately fatal, but memorable." It took Rex exactly 30 seconds to surrender. 3 days later, in the Galactic Council chamber, High Counselor Vale watched the footage of the pirates' capture for the 5th time. His golden eyes narrowed as he studied every detail. "Impossible," he muttered, unconsciously echoing Rex's words. "Their technology was primitive just months ago. These readings must be wrong." "Should we investigate?" asked another council member. Vale waved his hand dismissively. "It's clearly a trick. Smoke and mirrors to make themselves look stronger than they are. Probably used stolen technology that they barely understand." He turned off the video. "Mark it as a lucky defense against a minor threat. Nothing more." But that night, as he prepared to sleep, Vale couldn't shake the memory of Ambassador Parker's warning. "Remember that when you realize what you've turned away." In his private quarters, Vale opened a secure channel to the Council's military advisors. "Watch the humans," he ordered. "Watch them very carefully." But down on Earth, in the deep underground bases where Project Proving Ground continued its work, humanity smiled. The pirates had given them exactly what they needed: a chance to test their new technology without revealing everything. And the Council's dismissive response was even better. After all, the best place to hide is in plain sight, especially when your enemy thinks they're too smart to be fooled. 6 months after the pirate incident, the Galactic Council received an unexpected invitation. Earth was holding a technology demonstration and had invited representatives from every spacefaring race. The council members debated for days whether to attend or ignore this primitive display. It's probably just some minor improvement to their crude faster-than-light drives, one council member said with a laugh. But curiosity won out, and they decided to send observers. After all, what harm could come from watching humans fumble with basic technology? The demonstration was held in the Sol system, near Jupiter's orbit. Dr. Marcus Reed stood on the bridge of Earth's new flagship, the ETS Discovery, watching alien ships arrive through the massive viewing window. Each alien vessel was bigger and more impressive than the last, their designs showing off thousands of years of technological advancement. "Are you ready?" Admiral Stone asked, standing beside him. Dr. Reed nodded, running a hand through his graying hair. "The quantum bridge is stable. All tests are green." He smiled slightly, though our guests don't look very impressed so far. Indeed, the alien observers were making little effort to hide their boredom. Their ship's sensors swept the Discovery repeatedly, their reports confirming it used standard human technology. Nothing special or interesting. Representatives of the galactic community, Admiral Stone's voice broadcast across all channels. "Thank you for coming. Today, we're going to show you something new, something that will change space travel forever." The alien observers stirred with mild interest. One of the council's senior scientists spoke up. "Your ship's sensors show standard human faster-than-light technology. Perhaps slightly improved, but still using basic quantum field manipulation." "Oh, this isn't about our ship's drive," Dr. Reed said, stepping forward. "Computer, activate the quantum bridge." Space itself seemed to shimmer in front of the Discovery. A point of light appeared, then expanded into what looked like a tunnel of pure energy, its walls rippling with every color imaginable. "What is this?" demanded the council observer. "Some kind of visual display." Dr. Reed checked his readings. "Not quite. This is a quantum bridge, a direct connection through space-time that lets us." He paused for effect. "Well, perhaps it's better to show you." Discovery. Proceed. The human ship moved forward into the tunnel of light. The alien observers scrambled to track it with their sensors, but the moment it entered the bridge, it vanished completely from their scans. Exactly 5 seconds later, alarms blared across every alien vessel as the Discovery reappeared, on the other side of the solar system. "Impossible." The council scientist's voice shook. "You can't have traveled that distance in 5 seconds. Our best ships take hours to cross a solar system." "Actually, we can do better," Dr. Reed said calmly. "That was just a short jump to demonstrate the basic principle. Would you like to see what it can really do?" Without waiting for an answer, the Discovery created another bridge. This time, when it emerged, it was orbiting Alpha Centauri. The journey of more than 4 light-years had taken less than 20 seconds. The council's observers exploded with questions and demands. How was this possible? Where had humans gotten this technology? Why hadn't their sensors detected its development? Admiral Stone let them shout for a moment before responding. "The quantum bridge is entirely our own invention. We studied the basic principles of faster-than-light travel that we saw during first contact, and then we asked ourselves, why travel through space when you can simply connect 2 points directly? The council demands you share this technology immediately," one of the senior observers declared. "Share it?" Dr. Reed raised an eyebrow. "But I thought we were. What did you call us? Primitives barely out of our gravity well. Surely you don't need technology from such an underdeveloped species." The silence that followed was deafening. On the Discovery's bridge, Admiral Stone and Dr. Reed exchanged knowing looks. This was just the beginning of humanity's surprises. In his private chambers on the council homeworld, High Counselor Vale watched the demonstration footage with growing unease. Humanity wasn't just advancing. They were revolutionizing space travel itself. And worse, they were doing it with a calm confidence that suggested they had many more surprises waiting to be revealed. The emergency alarms on the council homeworld of Prima rang without warning. Scientists had detected massive solar flares from their sun, the worst in recorded history. The Class X stellar event would hit their planet in less than 6 hours. High Counselor Vale stood in the emergency command center, watching the approaching disaster on the main screen. "How many ships do we have for evacuation?" he demanded. 300 transport ships within range, his aide replied. "But they can only carry a small fraction of the population. Even with our fastest ships, we can only save about 2 million people." He paused. "There are 15 million on the planet." Vale's golden eyes closed in despair. Their fastest ships would need multiple trips to save everyone. And there wasn't enough time. The Council's sophisticated technology, developed over thousands of years, was useless against the fury of their own star. "Sir," a junior officer called out, "multiple quantum disturbances detected. Hundreds of them, all around the planet." Vale rushed to the window. His heart nearly stopped as he saw what appeared in orbit. Quantum bridges, dozens of them, then hundreds, opening all around Prima. Through each bridge came ships bearing the flag of Earth. Captain Diana Wells' voice broadcast across all frequencies. "This is the Earth Emergency Response Fleet. We detected the stellar event and came to help. We have 500 ships equipped with quantum bridge technology, each capable of carrying 50,000 people. We can evacuate everyone before the flares hit." The council chamber erupted in chaos. Some demanded they reject human help, claiming it was a trick. Others argued they had no choice. "This is High Counselor Vale," he finally responded, swallowing his pride. "We accept your assistance." The human ships moved with incredible efficiency. Each created its own quantum bridge, leading to safe worlds far from the stellar event. Earth had even prepared temporary housing for millions of refugees. Captain Wells coordinated everything from her flagship. "Group 1, take the northern continent. Group 2, southern hemisphere. Group 3, handle the orbital stations. Remember, we're here to save everyone, not just the important ones." The evacuation moved with precision and speed that stunned the council members. Human ships used their advanced shields to protect themselves from the growing solar activity. Their quantum bridges stayed stable even under intense radiation. Every human captain and crew worked tirelessly, making trip after trip through the bridges. In the command center, Vale watched the population numbers on his screen. 10 million evacuated, 12 million, 14 million. With just 30 minutes to spare, the last transport ship emerged from its quantum bridge. The final count was clear: 15,247,892 people saved. Not a single life lost. From the safety of a neighboring star system, Vale and the other council members watched through long-range sensors as the solar flares struck their homeworld. The planet's own shields held, but anything left in orbit or on the surface would have been destroyed. Captain Wells approached Vale after the crisis. She was shorter than him, and by council standards, her species was still young. But at that moment, she seemed to tower over the High Counselor. "Why?" Vale asked simply. "After how we treated you, why did you help?" Wells smiled. "Because that's what advanced civilizations do, High Counselor. They help others in need, regardless of past insults or political differences." She turned to leave, then stopped. "Oh, and one more thing. Those evacuation ships you saw, we built them in the last 6 months after your recommendation that we wait 5 centuries to develop our technology." Her smile widened slightly. "Just imagine what we'll build next month." As Wells walked away, Vale looked around at his fellow council members. For the first time in their long history, they felt truly primitive. Humanity hadn't just matched their technology. They had surpassed it. And they had done it not to conquer or dominate, but to save lives. The humans had proven themselves not just advanced, but worthy of that advancement. And they had done it in the most powerful way possible, by showing mercy to those who had shown them none. 1 week after the evacuation of Prima, the council gathered for an emergency session. The massive chamber felt different now. The council members sat in temporary seats, their grand platforms destroyed by the solar flares. But their pride remained intact. "We must act now," Council Member Dax said, his insectoid mandibles clicking with urgency. "The humans have technology that could threaten our control of the galaxy. We should take it by force while we can." Most of the council nodded in agreement. Even High Counselor Vale, who had witnessed humanity's mercy firsthand, remained silent. The humans' power had grown too great, too quickly. "I propose a joint military action," Dax continued. "We still outnumber them. Our combined fleet's cold." "Could what, exactly?" The voice came from the public viewing area. Everyone turned to see a human woman walking calmly down the central aisle. She wore a simple black uniform with no rank or insignia. "This is a closed session," Vale declared. "How did you get in here?" The woman smiled. "The same way we got into all your secret meetings over the past year. My name is Agent Kate Wilson, Earth Intelligence Service." She held up a small device. "And I think everyone should hear what's on this recording." Before anyone could stop her, the device activated. Holograms filled the chamber, showing dozens of secret meetings between council members. In each one, they plotted against Earth. "We'll wait until they save our people," Dax's voice played clearly from one recording. "Then strike while their ships are in our space. Take their technology. Remind them of their place." The chamber erupted in shouts and denials. But Agent Wilson wasn't finished. More recordings played. Council members accepting bribes, making secret deals, threatening smaller species. Years of corruption exposed in minutes. "Impossible," Vale thundered. "Our security is perfect. No one can spy on the council." "Perfect?" Wilson raised an eyebrow. "You still use quantum encryption from 500 years ago. You haven't updated your security systems in centuries because you thought they couldn't be broken." She gestured around the chamber. "We walked right through your perfect defenses. We've had agents in this chamber for months. Some of them aren't even human." As if on cue, 3 council guards shimmered and changed shape, revealing themselves as human agents using advanced holographic disguises. "While you were watching our ships and scanning our colonies," Wilson continued, "we were watching you. Every secret meeting, every corrupt deal, every plot against not just Earth, but dozens of younger species." She pressed another button on her device. "Right now, this evidence is being broadcast on all galactic frequencies. Every species in the galaxy can see how their great council actually operates." The council members sat in stunned silence. Their perfect image, maintained for thousands of years, was shattered in moments. You planned this from the beginning," Vale realized, his golden eyes wide. "Even before we rejected your membership application." Wilson nodded. "We knew you wouldn't accept us as equals. Your prejudice against younger species was too deep, so we decided to show everyone the truth about their mighty council." "And now?" Dax asked, his mandibles trembling. "You'll take control by force." "Force?" Wilson looked genuinely surprised. "Why would we need force? We just gave every species in the galaxy proof that you've been manipulating them for centuries. They'll make their own decisions about your right to rule." She turned to leave, then looked back one last time. "Oh, and those classified files about weapon systems you thought were safely locked away. We've had copies for months. If anyone tries to attack Earth or our allies." She let the threat hang in the air. As Wilson walked out, the chamber filled with urgent messages from across the galaxy, species demanding answers, allies withdrawing support, the Council's carefully built web of power unraveling with each passing second. Vale slumped in his chair, finally understanding. Humanity hadn't just surpassed them technologically, they had outmaneuvered them completely. And they had done it right under the Council's noses, using the Council's own arrogance against them. 1 month after the Council's secrets were exposed, representatives from every spacefaring species gathered on Earth. The United Nations building in New York had been specially modified for the historic meeting, its grand chamber now holding beings from across the galaxy. Ambassador James Parker stood at the same podium where he had once presented Earth's Council membership application. But this time, he wasn't asking for permission to join. He was leading the formation of something new. The old council failed not because it was old, Parker addressed the gathered species, but because it forgot the most important lesson of civilization. True strength comes from lifting others up, not pushing them down. High Counselor Vale sat in the audience, his once proud posture now humble. The past month had seen massive changes. Half the council members had been arrested by their own people for corruption. The others had resigned in shame. "We propose a new organization," Parker continued. "The Galactic Alliance. No species will be judged by their age, but by their actions and their willingness to help others grow." The chamber buzzed with excitement. On the massive screens behind Parker, images played. Human ships using quantum bridges to help rebuild damaged worlds. Earth's scientists sharing medical breakthroughs. Joint research projects between multiple species. "Earth offers our technology freely to all Alliance members," Admiral Stone announced, standing beside Parker. "The Quantum Bridge Network will connect all our worlds. But more importantly, we offer our partnership." Dr. Reed stepped forward next. "Our research teams are already working with scientists from 20 different species. Together, we've made discoveries that none of us could have made alone. Imagine what we can achieve with everyone working together." One by one, representatives came forward to sign the Alliance Charter. Young species and old joined together as equals. Even some former council members, having resigned their positions, asked to join as regular members. Finally, only Vale remained. The former High Counselor walked slowly to the podium. The chamber fell silent. "Before I speak," Vale said, his voice carrying clearly through the room, "I owe humanity an apology." He turned to face Parker. "We judged you by your age, not your potential. We let our pride blind us to your true strength." Parker nodded, accepting the apology with grace. "But there's something else," Vale continued. "Something I didn't understand until now. When we rejected your membership, you could have simply waited and proved us wrong over time. Instead, you chose a harder path, exposing our corruption, yes, but also saving our people when we needed help." He looked around the chamber. "You showed us that true advancement isn't measured in years or technology, but in wisdom and compassion. The humans could have used their power to dominate us. Instead, they used it to unite us." Vale signed the charter, then stepped back. "I asked to join not as a former council member, but as a representative of my people, a people who have much to learn from Earth about what it truly means to be advanced." Parker smiled and extended his hand. As Vale shook it, the chamber erupted in applause. "The Galactic Alliance is now officially formed," Parker announced. "Our first act will be to establish the Emergency Response Fleet, ships from all member species working together to help any world in need, regardless of their technology level or Alliance status." As the celebration began, Agent Wilson watched from a quiet corner. She caught Parker's eye and gave a small nod. Their plan had worked perfectly. Humanity had changed the galaxy not through force or fear, but by showing a better way. Outside the UN building, ships from 100 worlds flew in formation over New York. Among them, the newest vessel of the Alliance fleet, the Gas Unity, crewed by members of 30 different species, ready to face whatever challenges the galaxy might bring. Earth had joined the galactic community not as a primitive newcomer, but as a leader. Not through age or arrogance, but through innovation, compassion, and the wisdom to know that true power lies not in dominating others, but in helping them rise.